Good morning out to you. This is, of course, a chat wrap with me, Jamie, right here on Relax Radio. Hope you are having yourself an amazing day so far. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about because there's been a lot going on around the world, especially in the entertainment industry. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. And if you want to say hi to me, if you want to share with me whatever you got on your mind, all you got to do is go ahead and connect with me on our social media platforms. That is Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Go on ahead and say hi to me. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Now, with that being said, earlier on, we were talking about something very interesting. We were talking about something that happens to every single one of us, and that is procrastination. Now, I told you of a few things that you could do personally in order to avoid procrastination, but seeing as to how important the topic it is, I thought I need to share with you rather a more in-depth analysis of the reasons as to why we as individuals tend to procrastinate. Now, I asked you a question earlier on as well. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the show. But earlier on, we were having a little conversation about procrastination, and I asked you to ask yourself if you tend to procrastinate on the important things in life. And then I shared with you a few things that can cause procrastination, what you can do in order to avoid them. Now, we spoke of the lack of clear vision, and I told you how when you don't have a clear vision of what's happening, when you don't have a clear vision of what you want to get done within your day or your week or your month, then you tend to procrastinate because you don't have this big picture in your mind, and thus you tend to lag in whatever work that you're supposed to be doing. And I also told you that you need to have clear priorities. I told you how if you don't have clear priorities assigned to your work or your studies or whatever that you want to get done, you will most likely attempt to do what you like the most instead of what you have to do and have to get done. So some tasks are so important that you will wait to get them completed, and you are going to do what's pleasurable instead of getting what needs to be done completed. So that is why you need to prioritize. Always have a list. I spoke about this earlier on. Make sure that you have your clear priorities set up as soon as you wake up for the day. Then I also spoke about distractions. I said most of us tend to procrastinate because of distractions. I told you, me as an individual, I tend to, especially when I have to study or do a reading or research on something, I tend to procrastinate because I am surfing the web, or I am looking at social media, and I tend to get distracted quite a lot. So when you need to get something done, make sure that you unplug, make sure that you disconnect from everything else, and set yourself a time period where you will dedicate yourself for that specific task and that specific task only. Now, with that being said, I want to share a few other things that you can do in order to avoid procrastination, because let's be real, it is something that every single one of us face in our everyday lives. We all tend to procrastinate. It almost is something that it's a monster. I know how hard it is if you are an individual that tends to procrastinate. Now, I realize that especially with procrastination, there's a negative and a positive approach. I have seen most of the time we do not start something because it can go wrong. We're almost fearful of starting something that we want to get done because we're too fearful of failure. We're too scared of not being able to do it properly. So we tend to put it off. Now, say you want to start up your own YouTube channel, or you want to start up a new company, or whatever you want to do, your fear is going to avoid you or keep you from actually starting it. But here's the question. So what? If you attempt, at least you know what went wrong so that you will know how to do it better the next time. Do you have some task that you tend to keep procrastinating on over and over again? It may be your dream project or your hobby that you want to pursue or start. I want you to start looking at the positive side of things. Don't look at the 100 reasons why it might not work, but rather look at the one reason why it should work and then start working on it. Remember that the best way to get something done is to actually begin. If it works, if you're good at it, if you're successful, it's irrelevant. What's important is that you start doing it, you begin to do whatever that you want to get done, no matter how hard the tasks may seem to be. Trust me when I say, when you actually start to get to it, it seems so much easier. So make sure that you do get to it, and remember that the best way to get something done is to simply begin. Now, the other reason why we tend to procrastinate is because we wait for the perfect time. Now, listen, that is something we tend to do quite a lot. A lot of us wait for opportunities to be thrown at our faces. We wait for us to get that perfect time, get that perfect opportunity, and thus we procrastinate when we wait for everything to be perfect first. But I want to remind you not to wait so long. Start where you are with what you have. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. Just take the moment, grab it, and make it yours. Whatever you want to do, make sure that you start today, no matter what context you are in, no matter what background it is. Now is the best time to do whatever you've been waiting to do. So make sure that you take the time and make it perfect instead of waiting for that perfect time to come along. Now, with that being said, I also want to remind you that you need to be confident. If there's something big and you are doing it for the first time, of course you are going to lack the confidence. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be worried about whether this certain thing will work out or not. But that's a normal human behavior. It's normal. It's a normal human emotion rather to feel nervous. But never let that nervousness stop you from actually doing what you love. So try to avoid that. When you do lack confidence, what I feel like we do as human beings is we try to avoid that task as, or what we need to get done as much as possible. So rather than procrastinating on that, find some sources where you can get to know all about that specific task, or where you can learn and get knowledgeable about the thing you're supposed to do. Remember, preparation is one of the best ways to gain confidence. So always be prepared. Never, even if it's an exam, even if it's an interview, even if it's some work, no matter how trivial the task seems, always make sure that you are prepared. Because trust me when I say, it helps you mentally as well, because you are not stressing about, oh my goodness, is it going to work? Am I going to be good enough? When you're prepared, you naturally have that boost of confidence that you need. So, one thing that you can definitely do to stop procrastinating, something grassroots level that you can do, is to be prepared always. And that is going to boost your confidence, and that is going to stop you from procrastinating on doing what you love. Listen, today the internet is a place where you can find absolutely anything and learn absolutely anything you want to know. So study your fears. Don't ignore it. We live in a world where people say, "Oh, ignore your fears. Don't worry about it. Hide it, push it under the rug." Whereas I want you to try something different. I want you to explore your fears. Figure out why you fear something, and then figure out what you can do in order to get rid of that fear. Because unless you acknowledge the fact that there is a problem, you are never going to find a solution. So study your fears, read articles, read books related to that task, and get it done. When you have all that information, you need to know that you will automatically love to begin doing it. You are going to be enthusiastic, you are going to be excited, and that exactly is all we want from you. Now, with that being said, I want to make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio, because we will be with you for a long time, giving you the best of content. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio.